a ship and you see what we're talking about. But because of what do you call it? Technological advancement, people felt that these general cargo ships, when they come to port, they stay too long in the port because they now have to take out these cargoes bit by bit and then load cargoes bit by bit. So people saw that this was wasting too much time because when she comes to the port, a general cargo ship carrying a full load of cargo can spend as much as 6 weeks loading, discharging and loading cargo, which is a long time. 6 weeks is a long time to be in the port because anytime you come alongside, that is why people think Gapuha is very rich. When you come alongside, every day you spend there, they take a certain amount of money from every day. And it's in thousands. It's not 100 cedis, $10,000 a day just being at the bed without working or anything. So it's a lot of money. And because of that, the ship owners felt that they have to find ways of reducing the time they spend in the port. So now you have container ships, you have ro-ro ships, you have bulk carriers, and so on, all aimed at reducing the dwell time in the port. So you have the general cargoes, which is the conventional, the earliest type of cargo movement was by the general cargo ships. Everything went in. But today we have the bulk, we have the wet bulk, and then we have the dry bulk. We have containers. Containers, we have different types of containers. We have the standard 20-footer. We have the standard 40-footer. That means the length. We are talking about the length because the width is the same for all of them, but it's the length that varies. Then we have the refrigerated containers. We have gas containers, liquid and chemical, then overheight containers, over length containers, and so we have different types of containers for the carriage of cargo. Containerization started just in the 50s, the mid-50s, but today it caught on so well because of the convenience of having containers or cargoes carried in containers. Because with the general cargo, those days when cargoes were being loaded or brought to the ship, if this was a carton, it would come as a carton like this, and you have to load all these individual cartons in there, packing them nicely so that they don't shift, securing them, and so on. It took a long time. So if you could pack these cartons into a container, you lift one container, you've lifted thousands of these. So it was very, very convenient. So for that reason, it caught on, the containers caught on so well, and now we have so many. Some of the conventional cargoes, we have steel plates, iron bars, paper reels, bag cargo, which could be sugar, rice, cocoa, fertilizer, and all that, machinery and equipment, pipes, drums, etc. So many of them. With the bulk, you have the liquid bulk cargoes, which would be the oil, the gas, and then the chemical liquids. Then we have the dry bulk, so many of them. The dry bulk, we have the oils, sand, and so on. And then we have the grains, which are the edibles. We have petroleum products, oil, kerosene, petrol, aviation fluid, so on, diesel. They are all in that. Then we have the chemicals, the gas. Then we have alcohol, whiskey, even water, fruit juices. Here in Ghana, we are so fortunate we have so much water in abundance because of the rivers, which we don't value. You go to some places, they import even the water they drink, they have to import it because they don't have rivers. And any water there is water that is gotten from the sea, where they distillate it and then get the water. Like what they are doing at Teshi, is it Teshi that desalination plants there. Okay. They don't have water, so they have to import water. So some of the ships carry water, the liquid ships, liquid carrying ships carry water. You have coal, bauxite, manganese, clinker, wheat in bags or free rice, sugar, and so on. You have different types of ships, plenty of them. And now the order of the day is that we have about 160 different types of ships. The main idea being specialization. They try to, if they think of a cargo, they want to build a ship that is suited for that cargo so that the mode of loading and discharging, which is one of the major cost item of the ship owner. When you come to the port, when a ship arrives in the port, it is spending money, it is not making money. The only time she's making money is when she's on the high seas. Then she's earning the freight. But the moment she comes to the port, she's spending the freight that she has earned. So they want to reduce that expenditure. So they always go for specialization. So we have specialized vessels like the cellular container ships. You have the general cargo with containers. Now they don't go for only general cargo. They build the ship in such a way that it can do both. It can carry either general cargoes or containers. Some are purely dedicated container ships. They cannot do otherwise. They cannot carry any cargo except containers. They are the cellular container ships. But the general purpose ships, which we call the general cargo ships, now most of them can carry both containers and general cargoes. Then we have the ro-ro vessels. Ro-ro vessels get their name from the way they load. The cargo rolls in and rolls out on wheels because the cargoes are driven in either on trucks, trailers, or even using forklifts. So they draw the cargo into the ship and then draw it out. So they term it roll in and roll out, or roll off, roll on. Okay. So we have the roll. They also carry containers. Some of them, not all of them. Some carry containers as well, as you can see with the third image. You have containers on deck and they have containers in the forepart. That is because the way the cargoes are, you might always carry the cargo one way, and when you are coming back, you don't get return cargoes. So to make it in such a way that at least even if you are not able to fill the whole ship, you'll be able to earn the petrol or the fuel you are using back. And so they have container spaces or general cargo spaces to be able to load other cargoes other than the wheeled cargoes. Then you have the bulk and container carriers, like you see on the fourth row. They carry mainly the bulk cargoes, the loose bulk cargoes like grains or ores. And sometimes they are also designed to carry, some of them can carry containers on top. Then you also have the barge carriers. Barges are also containers, but the containers are not the sizes of the normal 20-footer or 40-footer containers we know. These are huge container articles, and some can carry as much as 500 tons apiece, whereas containers, their maximum weight is 30 tons. These can carry about 500 tons. Right in the heel of the development of containers, they brought in the barges, and they thought that because they could carry a lot, it could easily displace the containers. But unfortunately, it didn't catch on because it brought back in a way the disadvantage of the time taken to strip the container, the barge. And so it was like it was going back to the times of the general cargo. So it didn't catch on. But in some ports, they are very popular If you go to the US on the Mississippi River, the Mississippi River is a very big river which is very navigable way into the hinterland of the country. So, and those places, the hinterland is also where they grew a lot of the wheat, the maize, and so on. So they use the barges to cut them from up there to the coast. Okay. The different types of cargoes we talk about. But let me come to the car carriers are just like the Ro-Ro vessels. The cars are driven in and driven out. The Ro-Ro carries basically some carry cars, but most of the time there are cargoes on wheels, the trucks and the trailers. Okay. The cargoes are packed on the trailers and trucks and then driven inside. But the car carriers are usually purely for the carriage of cars, and they usually belong to the car manufacturing firms like Toyota, Honda, and so on. They have the car carriers. Okay. So when they manufacture their cars, they pack everything in, thousands going to maybe one destination or a couple of destinations. They go and discharge them.